Hi, my beautiful love. Thank you for being here, for showing up once again with an open heart, with that beautiful willingness to remember, to learn, and to be guided. Today, we're going to talk about something very subtle, yet incredibly powerful, the healing trap. Yes, it sounds paradoxical, because all of us, in one way or another, are walking this spiritual path, seeking to heal. To heal the past, heal relationships, heal the body, heal fear, heal the inner child. And yet, there's a point where the search for healing becomes another strategy of the ego. A Course in Miracles says something direct and profoundly liberating. You do not need to seek for what you already have. You only need to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. That single phrase can transform your entire spiritual practice if you truly let it in. Many of us have spent years, maybe even decades, doing inner work. Therapy, retreats, energy cleanses, shadow work, affirmations, constellations, manifestation techniques. And all of that can be helpful, as long as it's done with the Holy Spirit. But when it's done from the ego, it becomes another kind of struggle. A spiritual struggle dressed in holy words, but still a struggle. Because the ego is so clever that it even uses the idea of healing to keep you trapped exactly where you are. It whispers, "You're not ready yet. You still have work to do." When you finally heal this part of you, then you'll deserve happiness. And you believe it. So you begin an endless search to become a better version of yourself. But while you're trying to become better, you're affirming that you're not enough as you are, and that is the perfect trap. The ego isn't afraid of your spiritual practice. It loves it. It doesn't mind that you meditate, pray, or read self-help books. It actually encourages it, as long as you don't remember who you really are. Because the moment you truly remember your perfection, the ego disappears. And that disappearance is what it fears most, because that's its death. So the ego doesn't want you to heal. It wants you to keep trying to heal. It wants you in process, in progress, working on yourself. Because as long as you're in that state of constant fixing, you remain identified with the small self that needs improvement. And that small self is the ego itself. The Holy Spirit, on the other hand, doesn't ask you to repair yourself. He doesn't say, make yourself better. He says, stop. Remember. Remember that you were created perfect. Remember that nothing real can be threatened. Remember that the love of God needs no correction. The Holy Spirit doesn't come to fix you. He comes to remind you who you are. And when you remember, healing happens naturally. The Course says, the Son of God needs no healing. And that's not a denial of your pain. It's a correction of perception. The Course doesn't say, you're not in pain. It says, your pain is not your truth. Your essence has never been damaged. Suffering belongs to the dream, not to the dreamer. And awakening from that dream of suffering, that is the only true healing. Three powerful reminders to escape the healing trap. 1. Don't try to fix what God created perfect. Every attempt to fix yourself is an unconscious declaration that something's wrong with you. Peace doesn't come through improvement. It comes through surrender. When you stop fighting with yourself, the perfection you already are reveals itself naturally. 2. Observe the desire to heal without judging it. Each time you catch yourself thinking, I need to heal this, take a breath and smile. Gently say to yourself, there it is again, the ego trying to convince me something's missing. Then hand it over to the Holy Spirit. Don't repress the desire, just watch it with love, but don't follow it. 3. Remember that healing isn't a process. It's acceptance. It's the instant you stop resisting the love that you already are. Healing happens when you accept the truth, not when you change the form. Everyday example. Think of a day when you feel sad or uninspired. The ego rushes in and says, "This shouldn't be happening. If you were spiritual, you'd already be over this." But the Holy Spirit whispers, "It's okay to feel. You're not broken. You are held, even here." And that's where the miracle happens. Because instead of trying to escape your state, you stay present with it. No judgment, no resistance. And from that stillness, something dissolves. Not because you did anything, but because you stopped interfering. That stillness is the healing. Healing is not a goal. It's the end of the belief that there's a you who needs to get somewhere. When you stop chasing healing, what emerges is the wholeness that was always there. The Course says it beautifully. Healing is the recognition that the truth is not sick, and you are that truth. A spiritual example. Think of someone who hurt you. You believe you need to heal that wound before you can forgive. But in reality, forgiveness is the healing. When you release the story of pain, you discover the wound was never real. It was only an interpretation, a dream of separation. Forgiveness, in the Course's sense, doesn't fix the past. It undoes it, because it reminds you that nothing real can be threatened, and nothing unreal exists. So how can you tell whether you're healing with love or with the ego? By how you feel. If there's pressure, effort, or guilt, it's the ego. If there's peace, gentleness, and acceptance, it's the Holy Spirit. The ego says, "You still have a long way to go." The Holy Spirit says, "You've already arrived." The ego seeks progress. The Spirit seeks presence. Repeat with me. Holy Spirit, I don't need to heal myself. I need to remember that I am already whole. Feel how that dissolves the pressure. Nothing to achieve, nothing to fix, nothing to prove. Just returning home to the stillness where you've always been well. If this message touched something in you, give it a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still feels they need to work on themselves to deserve peace. And always remember, love doesn't ask for effort, only willingness. The willingness to stop fighting and accept what already is. Because the miracle doesn't happen when you do more. It happens when you stop searching for what's already within you. And in that holy moment of surrender, the love that you've always been takes back its rightful place in your mind.